Welcome back to Dawn of Sports, starring Dawn Mitchell from Fox 9. I'm Jim Suhan from the Star Tribune. Dawn is with us, of course. Special guest this week, Taylor Kane, goaltender for the Minnesota Aurora. Great sport, great personality. Really enjoyed the conversation we recorded with her. That'll be on later. Dawn and I will get around the Minnesota sports scene before we bring Taylor into the conversation. We're coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services Studio. We want to thank longtime sponsor Rudy Luther Toyota, also Beta Bay Boat Club. We're talking here on Tuesday in a very busy summer for us both. This is generally a lighthearted show, and we love getting guests on, having fun conversations with them. And it's just really awkward to deal with real life stuff and do that kind of a show. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start the show by talking about Khyree Jackson, and we're going to try to do him justice. And then we will pause, and then we'll move on and talk about a few other things. It's very awkward. It's very awkward to talk about tragedy and talk about sports. We're going to try to do it respectfully in this show. So, Dawn, let's just start with that. Just a tragic loss of a very endearing young man.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking to wake up to this weekend when you see it, and just Khyree, being a rookie, didn't really get to know him all that well, but got to see him, rookie mini camps and OTAs and their mandatory camp. And he was always smiling, just always smiling, and just very, the word is not self-effacing, but very honest about how his football for him was kind of a journey, a long journey. So I think for me, what makes his death even more heartbreaking is this is a young man who not only was with two of his best friends from high school that they played football together, he also got his life together. So much so to get back into football. He said that he was, and this was my favorite quote, we used it on the show, he was out of the game and he got Employee of the Month at a grocery store.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And he was so proud of that, and the smile on his face, like just a good kid. And then for him to work his way back, play well at Oregon, and then get drafted by the Vikings. That for me, anytime a person not only is young and has his life cut short, but when they're really working hard and things are going their way. For me, I don't know. It stung a little bit more, Jim. I don't know about you.
Yeah. I mean, anybody that age dying the way he died, that's a tragedy.
Yeah.
I don't know if it makes it even worse because we got to know him and we know what a great kid, great person he was, and that he had fought through all those things. I don't know. Let's be honest. People in the sports world, we're not good at talking about death. We're not good at this. This is not what we do for a living. So I don't know. I don't really know how to characterize it other than that. It just makes you hurt to even think about it.
It does. It does make you hurt. And then when you think of the senseless way too,
yes,
where I know it's not official yet, but the authorities suspected that the woman driving, changing lanes, that there was alcohol involved. That part of it makes me angry, so it's senseless. It shouldn't have happened. And then to three young friends and we only knew Khyree. We had our sister station down in DC spoke with his high school coach, and just how he said, his goal was just to turn them into good young men. And that's what your goal is. And he said all three of them were. So, and you could just hear it in his voice. His voice is cracking. That's the part that hurts the most, So you'll never know what potential he could have had in the NFL, but it's beyond the game. It is the person himself, the families involved. So I send out my condolences to the Vikings family, but his family and friends. It's something that no family should have to go through.
No. And there's an old saying in journalism that one death is a tragedy, 1,000 deaths is a statistic. And it sounds really callous, but the point is when you hear about late night driving fatalities. When you think, and if this ends up being alcohol related on the part of the people who caused the accident,
driver, right?
when we hear about, then it's a statistic involving drunken driving, and we know those are terrible things. But when you talk about one person that you have some connection to, however faint, losing their life in that situation, then it's so much more powerful than any statistic. Because it's a life story, and it's a life story ending.
For sure. Absolutely.
All right. Well, I don't know much. What else can we say about it at this point? We wanted to pay homage to Khyree Jackson and pass our condolences along to everyone who knew him. We'll just take a breath here, and then we'll, what we'll do. We'll go ahead and just run our ads right now and come back, and then we'll get to the lighter side of sports, and there is a lighter side of sports. So thanks once again, as always, to Rudy Luther Toyota.
Ready for a women-forward car dealership? Rudy Luther Toyota empowers their many women on staff in sales, management, and service. Whether you are looking for a new Toyota or pre-owned vehicle, Rudy Luther Toyota has something for everyone. Every vehicle comes with a Luther Advantage. 10 cents off fuel and car wash discounts at holiday stations, Luther Advantage warranty, and 5-day return policy on pre-owned vehicles. Located just 5 minutes west of downtown Minneapolis, off 394 and General Mills Boulevard. And they're also hiring. Want to join the team but don't know where to start? Visit rudyluthertoyota.com today.
And we'd also like to thank Beta Bay Boat Club.
Beta Bay Boat Club offers a limited number of season-long memberships in our private club and half-day or full-day pontoon boat rentals on Lake Minnetonka. Members have the opportunity to play on luxurious pontoon boats as well as a variety of well-appointed deck boats, speedboats, and offshore boats. Our daily pontoon boats are deluxe, custom-built boats with many amenities and comfortable seating for up to 14 people. Beta Bay Boat Club, Country Club Boating, 24 years in business and voted Minnesota's best 3 years in a row. Please visit us at betabayboatclub.com for more information. We look forward to welcoming you this summer.
And once again, we're coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services Studios, and now we're going to make the awkward transition to mundane sporting stuff. And let's start with the Minnesota Twins. We're talking here on Tuesday morning. The Twins are surging, and I think the coolest thing that is happening with that franchise right now, Dawn, is for years they were dependent on Byron Buxton being healthy and at his best if they were going to win. That's no longer the case. Now him being good, healthy is a bonus. Earlier this season, it felt like they couldn't win without Royce Lewis healthy and at his best. Now they're winning without Royce Lewis. They have developed so many good hitters. And they've developed so many good hitters that they have supplied good hitters to the rest of the baseball. Luis Arise, Steer, Encarnacion. They've traded away, Brent Rooker with the A's. They've traded away a lot of good hitters, and they still have one of the best offenses in the game. And kind of symbolic of all that is Jose Miranda, a guy who they could have given up on a year ago, now sets a record with 12 hits and straight. It becomes the fourth guy in Major League Baseball history to get 12 hits and 12 at bats. That's amazing.
And what I love for Jose personally is he was struggling a little bit at the I don't want to say beginning of the season, but before he went on this tear, you're like, wow, gosh, he was just struggling a bit, and then it was like slow and steady, and then bam and bam and bam, and like you said, this team is known for its offense, but home runs, and he's doing it a different way. He's just concentrating on the fundamentals, and to see him plow away and become one of 4 people ever in Major League Baseball to do that is something really fantastic. And what I do love, you mentioned Byron Buxton. Buck seems to be invigorated. I mean, yep. He's been playing great, and I really love how Brooks Lee has come on the scene. First of all, what a great story to be in St. Paul, right? You're taking BP. You think you're going to be playing for the Saints. Then he said Toby Gardenhire called them all in, and he thought he was in trouble. He said, I thought we're going to all get yelled at, like we did something wrong. And then they make sure they're rolling on the cameras, and they tell him that he's getting called up for his Major League debut that day. So he packs up, goes to the Twins, and gets his first, chance to be in a Major League Baseball game, gets his first RBI, and then the next game gets his first home run. He just seamlessly and it's not easy, Jim, to seamlessly, in air quotes, just go up to the big club for your debut, to handle your emotions, to do all that. I just think it's a great story. One of the reasons why I do love the St. Paul Saints are the guys can have their same apartment, their same house. They just drive to a different ballpark, but just to see Brooks Lee, another young guy, have great offense again. And their defense has been great, but gosh, I mean, the streak of home runs, Miranda getting on base, just how it's all gelling, like you said, without Royce Lewis, without having to depend on someone. That's how good teams do that. And I think that's a mark of a good team. If they can keep their surge going through the summer, I'd love to see what they can do the rest of the way.
Yep. And I compared Jose Miranda and how he kind of came back from absolutely nowhere in that organization to become a key player. I compared it in one of my columns recently to Jalen Clark. Jalen Clark, second round draft pick last year, Achilles injury, hasn't been able to do much for a year. And you look at the Timberwolves roster, you say, boy, there's just no path for him to get playing time. But somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody might struggle. And he brings a unique skill, which is the ability to defend on the perimeter, and also be just a really athletic guy whose offensive game might be able to improve that over the next year or so. That's what's going to make watching Timberwolves Summer League actually worthwhile this year, is guys like Jalen Clark.
I am looking forward to see, what this team can do. I know he's still recovering from that left Achilles tendon rupture, which is not easy to get over, a lot. Whenever you have that kind of stuff, but his style, just like you said, you can't just say there's no place for me on this team, right? These guys, when you're at the professional level, have to have that mental toughness. So it's going to be great to see what happens. I love this summer league in Vegas, by the way. Once Jalen Clark got cleared, I had a lot of friends go, ooh, like here he comes back. So full contact 5-on-5. That's just such good news for a team that is on the rise. No pun intended when we know that about the Wolves, but it's going to be great to see what he can do.
Yeah. Let's continue talking about injured lower extremities. The Lynx are having kind of a dream season. And then the best player pulls up with a sore foot. It sounds like plantar fasciitis. It sounds like she's going to be out for a while, and that Cheryl Reeve's goal for her is to be able to get back in time for the Olympics in Paris, because that's such a big deal for her and the WNBA. But it's not great news for a Lynx team that was really overachieving.
It's not. And Nafisa's playing probably the best basketball of her career.
Yep.
I hate that. It is a term that is so true, and I hate that it applies right here, but a rising tide lifts all boats. And she was playing outstanding, and the team was just cruising along with her. And that game that she left against the Sun, they ended up losing, which was a game I think they could have won. But once she went down, I think it really affected the team in many ways. Now, they did come back to win without her the next game. So that also goes hand in hand with Cheryl Reeve knows how to motivate her players. But I don't know long-term, if she's out long-term, how that's going to affect the team. So I just want to make sure, for me personally, if I were Nafisa, do everything I can do. You want to represent your country. You want to get back on the court and see what the Lynx can do, because they were shocking everybody. Yep. And I hate the word shock. People are like, well, that's not nice. I'm like, it's true.
It's absolutely true.
It's true.
Yeah, they were, most experts had them middle of the pack at best. And let's face it, they were, the last 2 years, they were well under 500 in their cumulative record the last couple of years. It's been a while since they've won a playoff series. This was kind of an average to mediocre team. And it's fascinating to see Cheryl kind of re-energize that franchise.
Yeah.
Cheryl and Nafisa re-energize that franchise without getting, anybody who's considered a premier free agent or even having a high draft pick really perform particularly well. It shows you just how far Nafisa's come, how far Kayla McBride has come, and the fact that people like Bridget Carlton and Alana Smith and Courtney Williams have played, as well as they possibly can.
Yeah, and Kayla McBride has just been turning it on as well. I think Dorka Yuha started in place of Collier the last game, if I recall correctly. But, she's not she's not Fee. The offensive output that Fee usually does on the court, they need to make up those points somewhere. So hopefully this will be a case almost like the Twins where, you build your depth, but basketball is so different with the amount of players, obviously, where you can just, let's get some depth. Let's get these games going, and then get Fee back, get her back and healthy, and let's keep this ride going.
Yes. And speaking of rides, the Minnesota Aurora has been on a great ride, 33-0-3 in their first 3 regular seasons. Had a little more trouble in the postseason, but it's still a great success story. Please stick around for Dawn's conversation with Taylor King.
Hi, everybody. This is Dawn Mitchell, and welcome to Dawn of Sports. Jim Suhan and I have a great show today. We have Taylor Kane, the goalkeeper from Minnesota Aurora, whose season was cut short, but it's not to take anything away from their spectacular 3rd season in this league. This is definitely a team that is still bringing people together. We'll talk with Taylor, and we talk much more on the local sports scene, so stick around.
And as Dawn and I promised, today's guest, Minnesota Aurora goaltender and all-around great person, Taylor Kane. Dawn, why don't you take the interview away?
Oh, Jim, thanks. I'm so excited to talk to Taylor today. Taylor, you know how much I love Minnesota Aurora. And the season, I know we're not even going to talk about the ending right now because it was just too soon. But the regular season, again, 3rd straight year without a regular season loss. That is something to really celebrate. So thank you for joining the show. Can you believe that it's been 3 years and you guys have not had a regular season loss?
Hi, thank you so much for having me, first of all. But yeah, this summer was just such an awesome summer, and to be able to have it be our 3rd summer straight in a row with no regular season losses is really special to all of us, and just so thankful to get to be a part of this team for all 3 years.
What I really love about this team is every single year it just kind of grows stronger, and there's even more laughter. I think, is that safe to say that it's great soccer as well, but the chemistry on your team is fantastic, right?
Yeah, it's a really special group of girls. We love our summers, and we love getting to spend time together in front of our community and our fans. And I think it really is just a really unique and bonding experience for the 30 of us to just get to be a part of something so unique, and to get to do it all while having a smile on our face and to represent so many things that are important to all of us. We're just so special. So lucky to have it.
I know when I finally got to get there, not working, just as a fan, got to enjoy it. It was an amazing victory, of course. And there are other people that were there for the first time, this husband and wife, and they're like, how have we not been here before? They were just so enthralled, not only by the level of soccer, but the atmosphere. How many people have come up to you and be like, you know what? I don't know. I haven't been here yet before. This is amazing.
Definitely quite a few people. I feel like it's really cool to get to be a part of women's sports, specifically like women's soccer, in such a supportive community. I think Minnesota in general is really supportive of women's sports and really interested in expanding that world. And so it's really cool to get to be a part of it and share it with our 3rd year returning fans who have been there for every single game, home and away, and to get to bring new people in. I think once they're in the gates, they'll stay. So,
and how about the fans that maybe they physically can't get to a game, but they can watch it? So I know this is a little self-serving, Fox 9 Plus, carrying all your home games, but we're really proud of that. Have you noticed an uptick in people that are saying, oh my gosh, I get to watch the games, and wow, like, it just kind of exploded, I think, for people that may not be able to get to Egan, that they just can enjoy it that way.
Yeah, I think it's really, Fox 9 is amazing and they do so much for us. And so just to have all of our games live streamed is really awesome and really cool. I know, like, even at some of our away games that got to be on there this year, and to just have fans who either can't make it to the stadium or who everyone has a different situation. It's fun to have like the little kids watch at home. I know people put little watch parties together, and just to be able to have that on that platform is really amazing. And just helps increase our awareness of women's sports and women's soccer.
And I know we've spoken about this before when you have Colette Montgomery come in and new coaching staff. And, we've spoken how Nicole has handed the baton off beautifully, but it just seemed seamless, and it's been amazing to see. And they have totally different personalities, but it just seems to have blended perfectly. Isn't that true?
Yeah, it's definitely true. I am really thankful for the way that Colette and Nicole kind of worked together to ensure a smooth transition between the two coaches. And especially since Nicole was there for the first 2 seasons, it was all anyone at Aurora had ever known. And so definitely the third year with a little more of the unknowns of a new coaching staff and just a lot more new girls on the roster, there were definitely some unknowns, but I feel like both Nicole and Colette did a really good job with that transition, and it made it super easy for all of the players. We just got to show up and do what we always do and play for the same team we've played for. So it was really awesome to get that.
They say goalkeepers are a different breed. And, to have some balls flying at you fast and have to defend your goal, it's just a different mindset. And you mentioned once, and if you could tell our listeners this story about the dream you had about making a save, it's pretty funny.
Yeah. So I'm a goalie. It runs in my blood. My dad was a college goalkeeper. So just part of my lifestyle. But yeah, my freshman year of college, I had this dream while I was asleep of a soccer game, and there was a cross, and I went out to punch the ball, and I accidentally punched my wall. So I was just making the save, and just kind of, I woke up, I was like, oh, well, I saved it, but it wasn't real.
Wow. Did you hurt your hand though? That's the only question.
No, I didn't. Thank goodness. Yeah.
Can you imagine having to explain that if you did?
That would have been so bad. My coaches would have been so confused.
Now, I know your brother plays hockey. Is he a goaltender in hockey when you're a goalkeeper, or is that a totally different mindset that he's got going on?
He's not. He's actually a forward. So kind of the opposite mindset. He was a soccer goalie for a little bit when he was younger. But then he switched over to hockey, which worked out well given we ended up in Minnesota. So the transition between getting the whole family out there for the summers was awesome to get that opportunity between hockey and soccer.
Yeah. And that's what I don't think many people realize. So the women that come here to play, they don't get paid. You guys might put on soccer camps and get some money that way and earn some cash. But the majority of people stay in dorms. But your family decided, all right, I know we live in California. We're going to relocate in the summer. We're going to bring the whole kit and caboodle. We're going to rent a house. We're going to stay there. And we're going to basically be the parent team or the parent home for the team. Many times you have dinners and have them on the lake and on the boat. How awesome is that?
Yeah, I'm super lucky to have such a supportive family behind me. And I really wouldn't be able to be out in Minnesota without them. I'm so lucky to have that. And it's been really fun. My parents and my brother are all super friendly with the whole team. They're my extended sisters at this point. But just to get to kind of provide a sense of home and comfort for the girls, when they could otherwise be spending their summers at home with their families. It really feels like the least we could do to just provide a home cooked meal here and there and get everyone out of the dorms for a day. So,
and that's kind of how you are. You're kind of like, I don't want to say the mother hen, because it's not like you act old around them, but you're always giving. And every single player that I know that deals with you is like, we just love her. She opens her door. Her parents are like my second mom and dad. Now we have a brother. I mean, how cool is that to get that feedback?
Yeah. I mean, it's really amazing, rewarding. I do it because that's just who I am. I don't do it for the kind of response that comes from it, but just to be able to be there for my teammates. And I know that I love having all of them around. So just to kind of keep them in Minnesota, keep them here for the summers is really special. And it just feels like the least I could do. And it comes natural. They're like my sisters. And so I love being able to help other people, and just little things make a big difference.
Does your brother play hockey in the summer here?
Yeah. So he skates with 2 different programs up here in the summers. And so he gets to come to all the soccer games, which is great. And he still gets to train and everything. So it's the best of both worlds. So it works out really well.
We have to talk about Indy 11. I know we don't want to talk about Indy 11. We don't like Indy 11, but what is it next year? They say the third time's a charm, right? So 2 straight years have kind of ended your season, and I say prematurely, but you guys handled that so well. Can you take us through? I know you guys flew there, but you know, the flights home, it's hard to register. You have to change your thoughts, but also you know that you had such a great year. So what was that like?
Yeah, I feel like obviously it was a really sad and unfortunate end to our season. None of us were ready to go home. None of us wanted to go home, but that's just how soccer goes sometimes. Unfortunately, it's the beauty in the game and it's also the pain in it. I was actually reflecting on the flight home and I realized we have won in we've won in each round of playoffs. So the first year we've won the first round, we've won the second round, we've won the third round. So the only round we have left to win is the fourth, which is the final. So we've done 3 years. We've done all 3 of the stages. So I have a good feeling about next year. It's our 4th year. It's the 4th round. I have a good feeling that next year could be the year. It would work out really nicely. So
absolutely. Right. All 4.
Yeah. I know, all 4. Yeah. So just get to be a part of the playoffs every year is really special. And it was a great conference. It was a great year this year. Lots of new players, lots of new talent. It was another just really fun summer. So sad to see it come to an end, but just so thankful to have it.
And you had so many international players this year too. I don't think people realize that. That was incredible, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really fun. We had a really good, we've always had a really fun and amazing group, but this year I feel like we had some really fun personalities, lots of different cultures, and just to get to share what our summers are like or get to celebrate different holidays and stuff with a group is really fun. I love to travel. So just getting to learn about different cultures and now getting to go and visit different countries and have friends in different countries is really special. I know there's some talk about some girls going on different international trips to visit some Aurora friends.
Oh, wow.
Soon. Yeah, I know. So it's going to be fun. Being on Aurora, you're bonded for the rest of your life. We're connected. So it'll be fun to have each other in our corners.
You know, I absolutely agree because when I went to France in March and April, I went to see Tiana Harris, Tiana play. And it's just great. Like it's people like, well, how do you know someone on Paris team? She used to play for Minnesota Aurora. And I happened to be over here at the same time she's got a game. So it was really awesome. You're right. It just, the fingers of the team just kind of are spreading far and wide in just 3 years.
I know it's crazy. And it's so exciting to see all the progress we've made in the last 3 years and just the impact we've had on this community, but just on women's soccer. It's been really exciting.
Well, you have plenty of frequent flyer miles stacking up. So you're already back home in California. You're only there a week. And then you go to Iowa back to school where your team, let me tell you, kudos to you. Big Ten champs last year. So now you've got to kind of refocus. Do you really shut it off right now in your week home in California before you have to get back into college mode?
It's definitely nice to be able to come home and take a little bit of a break. I think the workouts and the running and the fitness packets and soccer doesn't stop, but just to be able to get a little bit of like a mental break, a little bit of a disconnect it's really important. And everyone needs their break to be able to go into a full college season, fully recharged. It's going to be a big year this year for the Big Ten. So with USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington coming in. So I'm excited for this fall. It's going to be busy, but I'm super excited that I'll be able to build from this summer and continue that into the fall.
Now, when you're a keeper, it's sometimes easier to switch from team to team, right? Because what you do is essentially the same, probably maybe a little bit of twists, about how you get the ball out, perhaps. Like, what's your mindset when you switch from Aurora back to Iowa? Yeah,
there's definitely a little bit of a shift, just kind of obviously different coaching staff, different players you're dealing with, different like types of competition, different formations. There's all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, the same goal, keep the ball out of the back of the net. And so that's kind of what's able to keep me grounded the whole time. I think the tactics side is it's like the fun side of soccer sometimes is like figuring out, it's like a little puzzle, like what you can do to break the other team. So that's kind of the fun side of it. And then obviously the keeping the ball out of the net is what I do for a living. So that part comes easy.
Well, and last season, you're coming off kind of a historical moment for women in sports where Caitlin Clark was on the basketball team. Your soccer team was doing great, ended up to be champions. Just this moment of time, just to see the influx and the support and the love for women's sports. What was it like to be in the midst of all of that?
Yeah. Being at Iowa this year it's been unbelievable in so many ways. I think getting to be a part of all of the history women's sports that's going on, especially around Iowa right now is really cool to be a part of. And we just have so many amazing female athletes at our school, and just to get to see it all like firsthand is really awesome. And then to be able to carry that into the Minnesota Summers and build that on in a different stage is really cool. And so, yeah, I don't know, women's sports it's just set it in such an incredible direction. And to get to be a part of all of that change is really special.
Yeah, especially where you're getting support from the male football and basketball and all the teams where, the men are showing up to be like, yeah, come on. Like that's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, the sports community, we're all one big team, like women's or men's basketball, women's or men's soccer, football, lacrosse, whatever sport you're playing, we're all athletes, and we all have one common goal. It's to win a national championship, to win the USLW league, to win your playoffs. And I feel like being an athlete really connects you and connects you to other athletes. And so just to show up for one another is really important. And it's something I know at Iowa, our athletes are really good about. We go to, I think at every single soccer game, I'm sure been an athlete from every single team, just like there is at every football and basketball and wrestling match. There's just so much support and so much love for one another.
That's awesome. That's so good to hear, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, you're reaching back to the younger girls that are watching you, and like, wow, I can do that too. So you're hitting a whole nother generation as well.
For sure. I think at the end of the day, I do it for the little 5-year-old me who wanted to play on such a high level and who kind of never knew these things would be possible. And so just to inspire those young kids and show them that they can do it, there is a path, there is like so many amazing opportunities out there for them. It's really special.
Well, I know that you inspire me. I can tell you that. Who inspires you? Do you watch the Olympic soccer, or like who is someone that Taylor Kane is like, yes, this is the person that I just like to follow and inspires me?
That's a good question. I am a big fan of Alyssa Nair, the U.S. Women's National Team goalkeeper. So she'll be going to the Olympics this year, which will be really exciting. So I think it's been fun just to kind of get to follow women's soccer and women's sports. And yeah, just, I don't know, there's so many ways that different people and different athletes can be an inspiration. And I think one thing that's special about Aurora is like we inspire each other, and just to get to see, like, for example, Maya Hansen coming back from her ACL, like to watch her in her recovery inspires me. And it reminds me like that I'm lucky to be able to work hard and stuff like that. And to just have girls come from so far away and still want to be here, like that inspires me, because I just don't know how they do it being so far away from their family and stuff like that. So I like to just kind of find inspiration in each other. And there's some great, amazing role models out there for everyone, which is really awesome.
Absolutely. Just like Colette used to say to you all, pressure is a privilege,
yes.
right? You get to do it. And it's just been fun along the way as well.
Yeah, we always have fun. The summers are just awesome. And yeah, Colette always says pressure is a privilege. And I think that was kind of our mindset going into this whole season, to keep that undefeated record going for regular season. It's a lot of pressure, but it's such a privilege to be able to have and say that we are 3 seasons undefeated in the regular season. It's so amazing.
Well, Taylor Kane, I, first of all, adore your team. I adore you. You're so open. You're so kind. And first of all, absolutely incredible in goal. So don't punch any more walls. Be careful in college.
I will.
But I really look forward to seeing what you guys do at Iowa and seeing you back here again next summer, because you're such a joy. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you for everything you do for us and for Minnesota Aurora. It means a lot.
All right. Taylor Kane, Minnesota Aurora goalkeeper. We will see you back here this next summer. And who knows, maybe in the future, you'll be the Olympic goalkeeper yourself. I'm just kind of throwing that out there.
Maybe.
Thanks,
who knows? Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Thanks to Taylor Kane. Thanks to Don Mitchell. Thanks to everyone who listens. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.